Hey, what is going on, OCNers? This is Blue Dev with Overclock.net. Today, we're going to learn how to cut into a case. Namely, we're going to be cutting into the Lian Li PC-T70X for the Overclock.net YouTube render slash test bench machine. So we're going to be putting in a bigger fan grill provided from MNPCTECH. This is their Overkill fan grill, which is pretty sweet. I need to make accommodations for it because I am putting in a 360mm radiator in the front of the T70. So normally it doesn't support it, something like this, but through modding, it does support it. So you may want to cut into your PC case to either add a fan, a radiator, in my case that's what we're doing, or any other aesthetic reason. Cutting into your PC case is the easiest way to customize your build apart from painting the PC case, which actually we'll be doing that as well too. So the tools you will need at the very least is a rotary style tool. Dremel preferred, but I use a Black & Decker RTX. Same difference really, but with a heavy duty cutting blade on it. You'll need a file to take away any burrs. You'll still need it on plastic. Inch and a half masking tape. You're gonna wanna tape off all of your work area so that you can basically ensure that you're not scratching up your case as you're working, or getting extra cracks. Sometimes if you don't prep enough, it can lead to bad catastrophe. So we don't want to do that. You'll need a drill. Start a cut. You would drill into it with appropriate drill bits. Mind you, there is difference between plastic drill bits and metal drill bits and wood drill bits. So make sure you use the right drill for the job. I will be using a metal drill bit for my Lian Li PC-T70 as it's constructed of aluminum. But without further ado, let's take a look at what I have to work with here, and then we will get to cutting. All right, so here is my setup. The victim is going to be the Lian Li T70X, like I alluded to earlier. One note, when you are going to cut your case, you're going to want to put on some painter's tape. The 3M makes a bunch of them. I'm just using normal, what is this, 1.5 inch 3Ms, so it works just fine. But you're going to want to prep your work area so you don't get any burrs and things like that. And then you're going to want a file and then a rotary tool with a heavy duty cutting blade. So in a little bit we'll go to cutting it, and then we'll need to file it down. So speaking of what I'm going to be putting in front, I am going to be taking the Overkill ring from Bill Owen at MNPCTECH was gracious enough to supply this, some screws, and some other various parts here, which we'll go through, including this sweet Vandal button. Matches the blue here. So, but we're going to be mounting a radiator in the front from SwiftTech and another radiator in the back. And then mounted on the frame is going to be the two Maelstrom reservoir pumps from SwiftTech as well too. I believe these are the 200mm variants with brackets as well too. I already took the liberty of sleeving these cables because I don't want this ugly cables. I want it to look nice. So I just wish I could do this to these RGB fans, which are the Masterfan Pro 120APs. I like them a lot. They offer decent diffusing, but they're not addressable, so whatevs. And then we have a bunch of fittings, 45 degrees, and then we have quick disconnects. Did you know that SwiftTech makes quick disconnects? I think they're pretty good actually. So the quick disconnects are going to go over here, right about there, with some bulkhead fittings. If you want to know what bulkhead fittings are, in a future video I'll go through it, but Jay's 2 Cents made a really good video about what bulkhead fittings are. But basically I want to pass through this area here. I know I could probably go around it, but I just want it to look more clean, so I'm going to do this very same thing over here for the CPU. So it's meant to be clean. If I wanted to disconnect things in an orderly fashion, I can. So that's basically what I am going to be doing with the build. So consider this kind of a part 1 to the OCN YouTube render PC / test bench. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so we have the components off the test bench here. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to map out the radiator and the radiator mount, the Overkill ring from MNPCTECH. I just want to basically get it centered. But when you find the suitable place to put your cutout, you're going to want to mark it. The easiest way to mark this is to just trace around the outside if you're doing a direct replacement. I'm not. I want to know where the fan holes are, because I will be mounting fans on the other side, and I at least want 4 points of contact. So I'm going to be a little bit more picky about how to do this. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. You always want a tape measure. You know, measure, measure, measure. That looks to be right about perfect, right where I want it. Yep. All right, so I don't know if this is red. You may want to go over it with a pen as well too. I think that's what I'm going to do to make it show up a little bit better. Pencils sometimes don't show up. If you have a marker, you could use that as well too, which I may actually go over. This is not working so well either. All right. Yeah, that's working better. And you don't have to get all of them, but as long as you have a good idea, what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to go back over to the pencil, and then what I want to do is basically get a good idea of, let's see, it's shifted, where I need all this to be. So I really think tracing it is probably going to be the best idea to get the best cut. I can figure out later where to make the cuts, because obviously I'm not going to cut it out exactly to this Overkill ring, because I want some of the case meat to attach to it. And where I'm going right now is I can see there's a flat part here, which is okay. It's a mesh front anyway where it is, but I want to know that I am flush with it. So and as long as there's some meat on 4 corners, I'm fairly confident that this is going to be supported fine. All right, so we do have a nice outline now, and there are some fill in the blanks here, but right here is going to be like more or less I'm not going to do anything with. So for example, all this portion right here, like there's no meat for these fan holes to adhere to. So I'm going to I'm making sure that, yeah, I have 4 good fan locations. I could care less if the rest of them are like that. It may make mounting the screws a little bit more difficult, but I did get 35mm screws, so over that extra 2mm makes the difference. Haha, yeah. But I do have 4 mounting points, and that's pretty much what you want. I wasn't gonna be able to get any mounting points over here. Ooh. Oh, that's the mesh right there. These are the mesh. That's why I'm not getting anything. So, but yeah, that's basically what I'm going to cut out. And realistically, I don't need to cut out a whole ton. But what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to drill these holes first with a metal drill bit. I can do that now. And that will basically put me right where I need to be. I'll test fit again. Word of the wise, always test fit, test fit, test fit. Measure twice, cut once kind of thing. You always want to make sure before you do something that's permanent that you've measured at least twice. So always double check your work because you can't go backwards. All right, so I am going to drill out these holes here. I only have 4 of them to do, so and then I have to map out. There's some stuff in the front that, like, this is all mesh right here. That's fine, because I may want to cut out a little bit more, and I may make more of a rectangle pattern. But there is the front I/O that used to be here for the T70 that is no longer going to be. So, all right. All right, so now that I've made my holes, remember when I said double check? Double check, double check, double check. So it does look like all my holes line up. Make sure my screws that I need to go through it, go through. Ooh, they are tight. That means get a bigger screw bit. Now, remember when I said double check your work? Always double check your work. So I am going to line this up again. Make sure it's good. And I'm going to try 4 screws. Nice. All right, so now part of this mod is going to be figuring out where I need to cut. So right now I'm just making a ring around the Overkill rings, which will tell me where I need to cut the aluminum when I go to cut it. So now I can actually see, okay, I can feel it where I need to cut it. So I know for sure this bar needs to go. So that bar, and this is impeded right here, so this definitely needs some attention right here for sure. So I'm going to mark that for sure, and then see, it doesn't really impede it here. So I'm half tempted to make a straight on cut to get rid of all of this, because it'll just keep on going around here. So this would cut that off, and same thing comes over here. And that would take care of that. There's nothing down here, and this should just pop right out. Safety precautions right off the bat. Make sure you're wearing gloves. I bought these gloves at Home Depot, but any gloves should do the trick just fine, as long as you're wearing gloves. Another thing is to wear proper eye care. So basically our eye protection. I wear glasses all the time, and they're polycarbonate, so pretty much they're safety glasses as well too. So, but make sure you're wearing some sort of protection. I know flip-flops is probably not the best thing for me to do this in, but I've done worse. So, got my rotary tool here. It is a Black & Decker RTX. A Dremel will be pretty much the same. It is a variable speed, so I have low, medium, and high. That's all that matters to me. I usually keep it at medium. High is just too much. You'll burn through your wheel too fast. Low, you don't get the torque. Medium is just right. Story of the Three Bears, right? But there is a lock on mine. I like having a lock. It just makes for changing the mandrel that much more easier. So, all right, let's get to it. When you're doing this, you want to make small little cuts. You don't want to heat it up too much. You're not in a rush. If you rush it, you will screw it up. And you will wreck more blades, resulting in you going to the hardware store more than once. All right, so this one I learned from Bill Owen. You're going to use the blade of the cutting wheel, or the circle of the cutting wheel, to make your circular motion. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed my little how-to mod cut your PC guide. It was just a little bit of a adventure that I went on because I had to mod the PC-T70X from Lian Li for the overclock.net YouTube render PC/bench PC. So go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe. Much appreciated. There is a few more giveaways coming up, so you're going to want to stay subscribed to the channel as well as follow us for more future content. See you guys in the next one.